You can spend 20 or 30 years collecting dividends and still reach retirement with far less income than your portfolio could have produced. The reason is simple. Many investors optimize for the dividend they can see today instead of the income engine they could unleash tomorrow. Put $100,000 into a portfolio yielding 7%, and $7,000 a year feels powerful immediately. Put the same money into businesses yielding 2% or 3%, and the starting income looks disappointing. But now change the equation. What if the higher yield portfolio barely grows its payout, while the lower yield businesses keep expanding free cash flow, raising dividends, and reinvesting alongside you for the next 20 years? That is where the race can reverse. A high yield can give you income. A growing income engine can eventually overwhelm it. And that is what unleashing a dividend tsunami really means. You're not searching for one magical stock with a giant payout. You're combining four forces: capital, reinvestment, dividend growth, and time. When those forces begin compounding together, the income your portfolio produces can start growing faster than your contributions alone could ever achieve. In this video, you'll see the math behind that crossover. You'll learn how to judge whether a dividend can actually keep growing. And you'll see how your strategy should evolve as retirement gets closer. If you enjoy realistic long-term investing, leave a like, subscribe to Narrative Finance, and stay until the end. Because the dividend that matters most isn't necessarily the one paying you the most today. It's the one that can still be growing when your paycheck is gone. Not every dividend investor is trying to solve the same problem. And that matters more than most people realize. One investor wants income right now. They may prefer REITs, utilities, or ETFs producing 5%, 6%, or more. Another investor cares more about stability. They want dependable companies, lower volatility, and income they can reasonably plan around. Then there is the dividend growth investor. This investor is asking a different question. Not, how much does this portfolio pay me today? But, how fast can this income grow before I actually need it? That difference becomes enormous when you add time. If you are 68 and already retired, prioritizing current income can be completely rational. But if you are 35 or 40, maximizing today's payout can quietly sacrifice decades of future growth. That is why yield alone is not enough. You also need to think about what I would call income velocity. Income velocity is the speed at which your sustainable dividend income is increasing over time. Two portfolios could both generate $6,000 in annual dividends in 2026. But if one grows that income by 2% per year, and the other grows it by 8%, they are not remotely the same portfolio. 20 years later, the gap can become massive. And that is the shift you need to make before retirement. Stop asking only, what does this investment yield? Start asking, how fast can this income grow without forcing the business to weaken its balance sheet, overpay shareholders, or cut the dividend later? Because a dividend tsunami is not defined by the size of the first wave. It is defined by how much stronger each wave becomes after the last one. Now let's put real numbers behind this. Imagine Portfolio A starts with $10,000 invested at a 6% dividend yield. That produces $600 in annual income immediately. Portfolio B starts with the same $10,000, but yields only 2%. That is just $200 in the first year. If you stop there, Portfolio A looks 3 times better. But suppose Portfolio A grows its dividend by only 2% per year, while Portfolio B grows its dividend by 10%. After 10 years, Portfolio A is producing roughly $730 annually on that original investment. Portfolio B is approaching $520. The gap has already collapsed. Around year 15, the lower yield investment catches up. By year 20, Portfolio A is producing roughly $890, while Portfolio B is generating around $1,350. That is the crossover. And yield on cost helps you visualize what happened. Your original $10,000 in Portfolio B is now producing income equal to roughly 13.5% of that initial investment each year. But be careful. Yield on cost is a useful historical measurement, not a reason to ignore current valuation, current yield, business quality, or better opportunities available today. Now add reinvestment, and the mechanism becomes even stronger. Dividend growth increases the payment each share produces. Reinvestment increases the number of shares you own. New contributions expand the capital base, generating those payments. Now three forces are working together instead of one. That is how a modest stream begins gaining momentum. The first dividend may look unimpressive, but when growing payments start buying more shares that generate even more growing payments, the wave can accelerate long before retirement arrives. Once you understand the crossover, the strategy becomes much simpler. A dividend tsunami is driven by four levers. The first is contributions. Early in your investing journey, the money coming from your paycheck does most of the heavy lifting. If you invest $500 or $1,000 every month through a Roth IRA, 401k, or brokerage account, those contributions are constantly expanding the base that can produce future income. The second lever is reinvestment. Instead of spending your dividends, you use them to buy additional shares. Those new shares can generate dividends of their own. The third lever is dividend growth. If the businesses you own keep expanding cash flow and raising their payouts, each share can produce more income without you adding another dollar. And the fourth lever is time. Time allows contributions, reinvestment, and dividend growth to begin interacting with each other. This is why obsessing over the yield displayed on your brokerage app can be misleading. Yield is visible, but it captures only one snapshot of a much larger machine. In the beginning, that machine depends heavily on you. Your salary funds the portfolio. Your contributions create most of the progress. But years later, the balance can begin shifting. Your dividends buy more shares. Those shares produce more dividends. Growing businesses increase the payments attached to those shares. Eventually, your portfolio can add meaningful income-producing capacity even before your next contribution arrives. That is the real meaning of unleashing the wave. You are moving from a portfolio that depends almost entirely on your paycheck to one increasingly capable of feeding its own future income. And whether that process continues depends on what sits underneath every dividend you receive. This brings us to the engine underneath the entire strategy. You don't own a yield, you own a business. And that business cannot sustainably raise dividends unless it keeps producing real cash. That is why free cash flow matters so much. After a company funds the operations and investments required to maintain its business, management has choices for the cash that remains. It can reinvest for future growth. It can acquire another business. It can reduce debt. It can repurchase shares. Or it can return cash to you through dividends. So before you get excited about a 6%, 8%, or 10% yield, look underneath the payout. Is free cash flow growing? Is the payout consuming a sustainable portion of that cash? Is the balance sheet strong enough to survive a recession? Has management consistently grown the dividend without weakening the business? Does the company still have a durable competitive position? And does management allocate capital intelligently? Those questions matter because a rising yield is not always good news. Sometimes the yield rises simply because the stock price has fallen. And sometimes that price is falling because investors believe the dividend itself is becoming difficult to sustain. That is the dividend trap. You see an 8% yield and think you discovered more income. The market may be pricing in a future cut. Historically, the stronger long-term pattern has not simply belonged to companies offering the biggest payouts. Companies capable of initiating and consistently growing dividends have often demonstrated stronger underlying business quality, So don't ask only how much cash a stock sends you today. Ask whether the business can generate enough additional cash to send you considerably more tomorrow. Because without growing cash flow, eventually the wave stops growing too. The closer you get to retirement, the job of your portfolio should gradually change. Think of this as your retirement runway. If retirement is 25 or 30 years away, you have time to prioritize businesses and diversified ETFs capable of growing earnings, free cash flow, and dividends for decades. You may accept a lower starting yield because future income growth has time to compound. But with 5 years left, the equation becomes different. Current income, stability, diversification, and the reliability of that income begin carrying more weight. That does not mean suddenly abandoning growth. It means adjusting the balance before your paycheck disappears. Dividend growth stocks can provide expanding income. Broad diversified ETFs can reduce dependence on individual companies. REITs can add higher current income, although their growth rates and tax characteristics can differ from traditional dividend stocks. Covered call ETFs can also produce substantial distributions. But those distributions come with trade-offs. Selling options can sacrifice part of the market's upside. Distributions can fluctuate, and a high distribution rate should not automatically be treated as a high sustainable dividend yield. These are tools. They are not complete retirement strategies by themselves. And this is where one important distinction matters. High income isn't the enemy. Unsustainable income is. There is no universal portfolio that suddenly becomes correct when you turn 50, 60, or 65. Your allocation should reflect how much income you actually need, how diversified you are, how much volatility you can tolerate, and how much time remains before withdrawals begin. The goal is not to reach retirement with the highest yield possible. It is to arrive with a portfolio whose income, growth, and risk are prepared for the moment your salary stops doing the work. Building a growing income stream is only half the job. It also has to survive retirement. The first threat is inflation. If your portfolio pays $40,000 a year today, but that income barely grows for the next 20 years, your purchasing power can quietly erode. That is why dividend growth still matters after the accumulation phase. Then comes the threat you cannot control: the market. Your portfolio could fall 20%, 30%, or more during a serious bear market. Dividend income can sometimes remain more stable than stock prices, but never confuse resilience with certainty. Companies can freeze dividends. They can reduce them, and in severe conditions, they can eliminate them entirely. That brings us to sequence of returns risk. If a major decline hits shortly after you retire, selling large amounts of stock to fund expenses can put additional pressure on your portfolio. Dividend income may reduce how many shares you need to sell during that downturn. But it does not eliminate sequence risk. Diversification, spending flexibility, and sensible withdrawal planning still matter. Taxes matter too. A dividend received inside a Roth IRA does not create the same immediate tax consequence as one received in a taxable brokerage account. A 401k, Roth IRA, HSA, and taxable account each play different roles in retirement planning. Inside taxable accounts, qualified dividends can receive preferential federal long-term capital gains tax rates when requirements are met. Ordinary dividends are generally taxed as ordinary income. So the strongest dividend tsunami is not simply the portfolio producing the largest distribution. It is one designed to keep growing, remain diversified, limit unnecessary tax drag, and continue supporting you when markets stop cooperating. Because unleashing income is one thing. Making that income durable enough for retirement is what ultimately matters. For years, the goal may have been simple: reinvest almost everything. Keep contributing. Keep giving the portfolio more time to grow. Then retirement gets closer, and the job of that income begins to change. The dividends that once bought more shares can gradually start paying for groceries, utilities, healthcare, travel, or part of your housing costs. The machine does not disappear. It changes purpose. Free cash flow supports the dividend. Dividend growth increases the payment attached to each share. Reinvestment increases the number of shares you own. Contributions expand the capital base. And time allows all of those forces to compound together. Eventually, something important can happen. You become less dependent on how much new money you can add, because a growing portion of your income is coming from the system you spent decades preparing. That is the real objective. The goal isn't to find the biggest dividend today. It's to create a portfolio capable of producing far more income when that income actually matters. Because you don't unleash a dividend tsunami the day you retire. You unleash it through the decisions you make years before retirement arrives. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with someone who is building a dividend portfolio for retirement. And let me know in the comments, what matters more to you right now? Higher dividend income today, or faster dividend growth for the future? Thank you so much for watching. God bless, happy investing, and I'll see you in the next video.